Namaste, good afternoon, and welcome to the Bloom 276 talk show. Today, we are having a dynamic personality, and let me introduce him. His name is Shantanu Chitgopkar. And today, the topic is from cricketer to marketer. Welcome, Shantanu, to the Bloom talk show.
Thanks, Payal. I
We
mean,
have we have a long list of introduction, but I would appreciate if you can introduce yourself and tell us what you do, why you do.
okay. Well, life has taught me to do many things. Um, Let me, logical ways to start at the beginning. I was born into a defense parent family. My father was in the joint director for Indian Navy. So we lived all our life in Mumbai. Started my life in Mumbai. My schooling was King George. Then I was in Podar, later Narsimhanchi. What I do currently is an accident of fate, but we'll come to that later. But sticking to the topic, uh, from cricketer to marketeer, I would like to say that, I'm talking almost six decades ago when cricket was as natural as getting up and having your food or sleeping. So, my earliest memory is how I started to play cricket. Well, my mom told me, obviously, I don't have that memory, is that when I was probably 1 year or 2 years old, she has got photographs of me batting and bowling left handed. So I can claim to be a natural cricketer, and that's the only natural talent I seem to have. After that, the earliest memory is what my mom proudly tells. One day I was having this semaya, semolina, and I picked up in a spoon and three semolina were dangling. So I shouted to my mom, Mom, look, look, stumps. Now, this was probably age 4 or 3 or 5, I don't know. But these are things that my mom has told me that this is where I had an inkling or an inclination towards cricket. For a few years, we lived in Delhi, as my dad was in the Navy, and we lived there for a few years when I was probably third, fourth, and fifth. And even there used to be, in school cricket, there would be a toss for choosing players, and there would be a special toss for selecting in which team I would play. So these are earliest memories that I have. And when I came to Mumbai and I joined King George in the sixth standard, uh, I didn't know that in Mumbai people played cricket with rubber balls. I used to play cricket with cork ball without pads or gloves. One day in eighth standard, all my friends were very excited running around, and I asked him what happened. He said, "Oh, you're not coming." I said, "Where?" They told me that you should come down because the school cricket team selections are starting. So I said, "Okay." So I also went down. And our one of the selectors' assistants, we call him Commodore Vivek Mohile. Vivek Mohile is a very popular person, but he was assisting our uh, Professor Mr. Bhor to do the selections. And he just threw me a ball and he said, "Bowl." First time I held a season cricket ball in my hand. I was a left-hander. I didn't know to bowl slow. I just took a run-up, drop a few paces, and I bowled just four balls. Four balls, four times I knocked the stumps over, and immediately I was stopped. So I didn't know why, but they just stopped me. But at the end of the session, my name was read out that I'm selected in the top, whatever, 2030. Evening, we had a selection at Matunga Gymkhana, and there Sanjay Manjrekar, who was the captain, all of 14 years, I mean, telling you, this is 1980. Uh, he got us to play in the nets, and then the final 15 were selected, and I was amongst the 15. That was my beginning and introduction to season cricket in Mumbai. And the first year, obviously, I mean, the seniors were there. Sanjay Manjrekar was the captain. We had a few other seniors from the 10th standard, and they led the team. And that was the first time, I think, that in 1980, King George won the Guile Shield prestigious inter-school cricket tournament. And that was the first time in 1980 that I played at Wankhede. And I bowled for the first time and I claimed 2 wickets. That was my first cutting in newspaper because somehow the opposition team was not letting us go. And Sanjay took a chance giving me bowling and I delivered. That was just the introduction. Next year, the seniors passed out, and I got suddenly I was the senior. So that year we reached the finals. We lost to Sharasha Marathi Medium again. I took 32 wickets in the season. People started noticing me because I had a natural action, I had a natural loop, bite, nip of the pitch, and uh, difficult to face me. So I used to bowl with a very standard close and field. But 1982 was a breakthrough where in the finals we were playing Sharasham Marathi Medium again at Shivaji Park. And I mean, Sharasham was a strong team, and everybody used to be in their awe. And we were trailing, we gave them a lead of 73 runs to win in the second innings, and they were already at 45 for no loss. And Sulakshan Kulkarni was batting, and I believe other end Sandesh Kavale was there. And from 45 for no loss, we reduced them to 53 for 8. Shantanu Chitgopkar 5 wickets in some 3 runs or 5 runs something. Vinayak Mahajan took 3 wickets. Vijay Manjrekar, Sandeep Patel, Ramakant Desai, the regulars at Shivai Park were playing cards inside. And my father told me when he was sitting in the dressing room that these guys, they stopped playing the cards. They came out to watch me bowl because somebody shouted, "Hey, look, how this boy is bowling." And we reduced them to 53 for 8. If it was not for an umpire's wrong decision to not give a run out, an obvious run out, we would have won the final that year against all odds. It was a phenomenal match. And Parag Paigankar was the captain, I was the vice captain. So 53 for 8 and chasing another 20 runs was too short. We lost the match. And that was it. But that year, I was invited to Wankhede to bowl at the Bombay Ranji Trophy nets. I was 14 and skinny, 4 feet 11. No pretense, didn't know what was going around me. I just knew to take a ball and bowl. That's it. When I went there, I could see all the stalwarts of Bombay cricket. Today they are legends. You're talking about Shishir Hattangdi, Alan Sippi, Jignesh Sanghani. You're talking about Raju Kulkarni, Sanjay Manjrekar, Deepak Jadhav, Chandrakant Pandit, Lalchand Rajput. These guys, I mean, they were big timers when I started to play cricket. I didn't know much of Bombay cricket. But when I went there, Chandrakant Pandit called me and said, "Hey, come here. What's your name?" I said, "Shantanu." "Hey, are you the one who took those, you created a school record?" I said, "Yes." He screamed all over the ground, saying, "Hey, Lalu, Lalu, come here, come here. He's the boy." I mean, they couldn't believe I was so skinny, thin, and I could bowl 30, 45 overs in a day. And I used to bowl 35 overs in a day. So, all in all, I'm just trying to make a point that it was so natural that no one coached us. No one told me this is the loop, this is how you do, how you use the crease. Cricket is a game, let me tell you, which is a game of chess played out physically on the ground. So you're always trying to think, outthink, guess, outguess, and anticipate, intuit, and try and get better on the opposition. It just came naturally, and our entire generation used to play cricket like that because there was no money that time, and we just played cricket because we loved cricket. There was no money, and we spent from our own pockets to buy our own kits. My first pair of shoes, which had arc spikes, 60 rupees, specially made by India, that sports shop near Podar College.
So,
So all in all, it was fun.
so Shantanu,
Yeah.
at that age, when I remember in school you playing cricket, and you used to go, I think after a particular time, just after the recess to practice. So about 2 3 hours were gone into practice. So how were you balancing your studies with your cricket?
Till 7th standard, I remember I used to get third or fourth rank. From 8th standard, my ranking went to 35 in a class of 45 or 55 something. And I remember my mom was very worried. She came to meet Mrs. Sinha, our principal. Oh, he's not doing well. And Sinha madam convinced my mom, saying that, "Oh, why are you worried? He's playing excellent cricket and these things happen. Runs, I mean, the marks are not everything. So just let him be." I mean, that lady was phenomenal. She was a visionary and she knew exactly where to balance. Imagine a professor telling a parent not to worry. I mean, it's reverse trend. Generally, parents blame the professors for bad marks. So what we used to do, and I'll tell you what happened. I used to live at Ghatkopar that time. So catching 7 limited bus at 8 o'clock in the morning, coming to Damu's classes, taking 1 hour of lecture, walking from Five Gardens to King George, whole day school, two lunch breaks, two tiffins, and 3:30 we used to leave for Matunga. Practice from 4 o'clock till 6:30 till light faded. Probably have one small snack in Matunga Gymkhana, and come to Ruya bus stop and catch whatever bus that went to Ghatkopar. I used to reach home at 9 o'clock. So 12 hours outside, there was hardly any chance. I don't even remember when I studied or whether I studied at all or not. But somehow I got through and cleared 10th standard. So I never studied seriously when I started playing cricket. And one time it was, when you are young, you always believe you are invincible. So never thought that we have to study to pass. I thought the school and college will take care of it. But somehow a bit of studies, one time reading, two-time reading, and I could just get through. That's why in 10th standard, my marks were not great. It was just 67%. And everybody around me was scoring 85 and 88% and all. I didn't have such great marks. But in Podar College, I was invited by V.S. Patil to come and join. And there I saw the first glimpse of privilege, where the line was all the way up to Riya Naka for the people who got 85, 88%. And here we were escorted in by the peon to go straight to the cash counter to pay our fees. And the forms were filled by them, all on the saying of Mr. V.S. Patil. That was the first hint of privilege, with such low marks. But I got into Podar College accordingly and never studied there also.
So, would you advise that as for any youngster or any parent that they should also adopt the same path, or is there something which you could have done differently or focused more on cricket, less on studies? Because I feel a lot of students at those age, because of the parents' pressure, a lot of my friends in Podar, they used to balance studies and cricket. So they were neither here nor there. So would you have done something differently? Or
We are talking
you.
about two completely different phases, Abhijit.
Hmm.
We are talking about a phase when cricket started being a bit of supported by big brands like Reebok, Nike. Just when I was leaving cricket, just to give you a perspective, when I was playing cricket and I was knocking on the Ranji Trophy doors, players like Chandrakant Pandit and who were representing Mumbai used to get 100 rupees a day as allowance, and they used to stay in Pune in Ajit Hotel. Today you won't walk in there. And we used to get 15 rupees allowance, and we thought that was fantastic. The moment when we were leaving cricket, I'm talking about early or mid 90s, 92, 95, around that time, when Nike first started sponsoring kits for school cricket. Ranji Trophy started getting sponsored by giving two bats. So still money was not on the horizon. In Delhi, Tissot brand started sponsoring the Ranji Trophy team for the first time, and hence Tissot today, if you see, it's one of the top brands or the leading brands with the top recognition in India as a brand in watches. That's the lead Nike and Tissot took way back in 90s. So and today, uh, I was there at Wankhede yesterday to watch a men's A under 23 cricket match between Tamil Nadu and uh, West Bengal. The bus they travel in, it's the best Volvo you find. Same bus that is used for test cricket and first class cricket. The hotel they stay, the food they served, and I ate the same food there in the dressing room, president's box. The food there was exactly what they would be served all across. The rules are the same. There is even a replay. I mean, this was unthinkable that time. And that's the difference. So today, coming to your point, if someone wants to take up cricket as a profession, there are many avenues. Test cricket is not the only one. Ranji Trophy is not the only one. There are tournaments which are one day, which are regional, which are local. There are 1 day, 5 day, 3 day, 50 overs, 20 overs. There are plenty of options for a cricketer. You know how much, Abhijit, a boy makes today from one match that I witnessed yesterday is 1 lakh rupees per match. So today they are in a profession. They are not playing game as a merit. They are playing game as an arithmetic. You should read Shishir Atandi's blog of yesterday. Fantastic analysis of Bombay cricket. So there is nothing right or wrong in advising. Like in any profession, if you have the talent, plus if you get the right breaks, is when you really become reasonably successful in any profession. You talk advertising, you talk whatever, anything, cricket or any sport. So there's no right or wrong way, but there's only one way. Give your best and grab all the breaks or opportunities that you get. Develop mentors in your life, and that will help you. Whether you want to be a serious cricketer from the age of 12, perfectly fine. But at all points of time, never ever ignore cricket, your studies. That is my advice. Whoever is listening, if you have got grown up kids or just kids who are entering teenage, inculcate the habit of education, studying, because every field has become extremely competitive, and you must have a plan B in life when your physical abilities start deteriorating. Your mind should be able to take over and ensure that you have a career which sustains you till you retire. So education has got no substitute, no options. Even the best cricketers who have never had education, if you look around, I'll take few names. Um, they are really in bad shape. Vinod Kamli is one, the most obvious example. I mean, lack of education, very sorry. But same thing coming from Sachin's house, where his parents had that breeding, upbringing, the values and moral values guide you throughout your life. So these are, and our batch, Shavijit, I would say everyone has done extremely well. I mean, you name anybody in our batch and they have been successful in their fields. Is it not because of education? It is. So whatever you choose as a profession, if you do well, I think education is the backbone.
So, what I take is that now, even if you don't make it, if you make it somewhere in the IPL or the Indian Test team, obviously you have just a multi-millionaire. But even if you don't make it at that level, you'll still earn very good money,
Yeah,
which is there. But there's no substitute for doing the best at what you do, and
absolutely.
balance it with education, and maybe at the right time take the right decision to ideally step into your profession, whatever the education and passion what you do. So how exactly you stepped into marketing? Was it a coincidence, or it was something which became very natural, given your flair for selling or persuading or
No
influencing
flair for,
people?
there's no flair for selling. It's all a journey of self-discovery. I'll go back to the same point. When we played cricket, there was no money. There was no opportunity beyond the usual progress. Under 15, under 19, under 22, university, Ranji Trophy, Test cricket. This was the path. How many people really break into Test cricket? 15 out of possibly 150,000 cricketers across the country. So you see how difficult it is to break into Test cricket. Then you look at Ranji Trophy, the same numbers apply. Bombay cricket, there'll be 150,000 cricketers who are serious, aspiring, and for each position in the 11, there would be not less than 15, 20 serious contenders. So how do you break in? You break in only with the good opportunities and consistent performance. But isn't that true in life? So at that time, when there was no money and there was no visibility for a career, the best we could hope for is to get picked up by some company who used to have cricket teams and get a job and stick there. People got into Air India, people got into Indian Oil, people got into public
Mahindras.
sector, Mahindra, Sangresh, Mafatlal, Tatas. So they were the fortunate ones. Not everybody got into that. People got into banks. So, well, I tried my best to land myself a job. My ambition was not so big. I only knew what I was seeing around me, and I didn't get a job. I was literally frustrated. At some point of time, it clicked in my mind somewhere. A dim light said that you have to go beyond your physical ability. I was 23. I didn't know where cricket would lead me, and I said I must do something which where I could apply my mind and brain, which will sustain me beyond my physical fitness. I mean, at 25, 30, your cricket was over that time. By that time, if you didn't break into Ranji Trophy at 23, you are finished. And there I could see darkness. I didn't know that there would be IPL in future. I didn't know that there would be money for coaches. I didn't know I could have become a commentator. I didn't know any of those things. So I said, okay, let me do one thing. I just got up. I went to IMS, where everybody who aspired to do an MBA does. I went there, I bought the study material, if I'm not mistaken, for just 135 rupees. And I put my energies into that to see what the hell this study material is all about. And I started studying. And to do a proper study, I set myself a very strict regimen. You would have seen me, Abhijit. I used to sit in what the room is called G7 in Podar, ground floor. And I used to reach there at 8:30 in the morning and continue to study till 8:30 in the night with very strict breaks. I didn't drink tea or coffee that time. I never smoked. So my breaks were only lunch break or just a walk around the garden to come out and watch a match or something. That's about. But that discipline is what I set. And the first year I didn't get admission anywhere. But next year, by some fluke, I had given an exam for Air India and I got selected through the regular channel and I joined Air India. And in 6 months, I resigned. I remember Praveen Barve, he was the doyen of Air India cricket. And I told him I'm resigning because I'm studying. So he blew a fit. He said, "Are you crazy? You're leaving Air India job." I must tell you this. I mean, how foolish it might have sounded that time. But I told him his pet name is Anna. I said, Anna, do you think I'll beg money from my father to say I'm taking my wife to Paris on a free Air India ticket? No, I will earn money and I will travel the world at my own on my own steam. These were my words in Marathi to him. मी पैसे कमवीन आणि मी जग स्वतःच्या पैशावर बघीन. And I resigned Air India, which was unthinkable. And I got into MBA in the next year, and that's how my career in corporate world started. To tell you something, sometimes what you say, I mean, there is always somebody saying Tathastu. That's what happened. Uh, After how many years now since that time? I traveled to 43 countries on business and pleasure. I got exposure to various different cultures across all continents except South America. I got to learn a lot of things. I had a good time abroad. Came back to India for certain other reasons, family reasons primarily. So this is how my transition from a passionate cricketer who knew nothing beyond cricket to deciding one day to quit cricket and come into corporate world. When I came into the corporate world, even my claim to fame was cricket. Everywhere, what they used to ask me, "What do you do?" I had nothing to say except cricket. But my first job in Nerolac, I was a greenhorn, absolute green behind the ears. I didn't know what things worked. I didn't know politics, and it was uh, I mean, a very tough time for me, where I mean, I used to be taken for a ride. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how sales happened. I didn't know how organizations work. I had no clue what my role was, what I was supposed to do. I was just selected from campus as assistant manager with 5 salespeople in my team. It was a hardcore sales job. By God, it was really tough. And by accident or some intuition, I said the only way to do it is to put your hands on the ground, soil your hands, and get to learn the basics. So I used to actually work with my salespeople, spend hours in the sun walking with them, working at their level, and not having lunches, standing outside shops, sweating while the shopkeeper used to take an hour to have his own lunch and tell me, okay, now get out. I don't have any orders for you. I mean, pretty damaging to the ego. But that's where I learned. But once I got the hang of it, I saw an opportunity. Uh, I took my team to contribute 30% of the branch. And it didn't happen by fluke. It happened with sheer relationship building with the dealers, trust that I earned from them, willingness to do anything. I slept in the same room in hotels where we traveled with my salesman, where I had an entitlement of 700 rupees and he had an entitlement of 100 rupees. But I did not make any difference. I made him sleep in my room and we shared the room. And that took me a very long way. They said, this guy, well, he doesn't know, we should teach him. So my team taught me sales, which stood me in good stead. Uh, as any eager guy, I looked for a job after some time, got into Parle Agro, which was the introduction for beverage industry for me. I mean, I spent huge amount of my career in the beverage industry. Parle was the entry point, and fantastic, positive learning, winning organization, Parle Agro, Fruity and Bailey.
Yeah. So how
Uh,
did your how did your involvement in cricket? So you talked about discipline. So the efforts which you put in, the hard work for practice, do you think that was the core in you even going ahead and helping you in your studies? Because you had a 12-hour regime and you were used to that 12-hour regime right since age 10. So the same regime you employed it into studies, and then the same 10-hour work regime you employed in your job. So do you uh, swear by cricket as being the one which has taught you all the skills in some way?
yes, yes. Cricket, see, no experience goes waste. And cricket is something which is a religion in India at any level. So what happens is when you are used to something, you do it without pre-planning. What you just said, it looks very good in retrospective or hindsight, but it just came natural. I mean, you just had to channel your energy from playing cricket on the ground to studying and trying to do well. It was just the desire to do well. That's about it. And then after that, fate leads you. I must tell you something that life just happens. Huh? You don't plan life. Even people who say that, oh, I am a self-made man. Nobody is self-made, including Sachin Tendulkar. Sachin had phenomenal backup support, people who gave him the opportunity to display his talent and to realize his potential. Now that is called support structure and luck. Whereas there are tons of cricketers who at the opportune times or the crucial vulnerable times were actually suppressed and they never got a break. Now you can't blame, now you can never say whether they were good enough or bad enough, but that is fate. So, I mean, it's what you
So
do
I'll
is
just
fundamental. Your hard work, your values, your work ethic, your discipline, your team building, these are building blocks. After that, what takes you pivots you over the top is sometimes the good breaks, a good organization behind you, good mentor. I will always stress that everybody, whether you're young, old, middle aged, you must have mentors to whom you look up to, and you should always take advice. Never ever think that you are alone. I
so
want to say something here, Abhijit.
yeah.
One very cherished mentor and friend I have is Bharat Dabholkar. I
No,
mean, he
good.
has been a silent guide and a tremendous supporter, but we came together by luck. You want to hear more about it?
Yeah, so we'll come back on that. So one is you've traveled various countries. So how is the culture, work ethic different in different countries, or is it that an Indian has a great work ethic which helps him shine out anywhere abroad?
We Indians are very good with the hard skills, but sorry to say, pathetic at soft skills. And this I'm talking about after being exposed to very diverse work cultures from Japan to USA to Europe to Africa. For the reason being, there's a reason for it. There's no right or wrong, or I'm not blaming Indians, but India as a country is extremely competitive. There's competition for everything, from getting into a bus to getting into a plane. We are instinctively trained to jostle and move ahead, to get that better place to put your bag in the aircraft or to be the first one into the bus. I mean, that's instinctive to Indians. Outside doesn't happen like that. People are very decent, uh, tolerant, patient, and they display a lot of positive values. Sometimes we do throw our weight around, but people outside do not. That's the one significant difference I would like to highlight. Different work cultures teach you how to be patient, open to different ways, not rejecting anything outright, no dogmas. You could not be exposed to it, but once you see their perspective, which teaches you to be empathetic. And that is the best thing about traveling and working in a cross cultural environment.
So, what has been your learnings from such cultures, and what has been your contribution also? Or, I mean to say, there's something which, as Indians, we bring on the table, the hard work, which I
Absolutely.
believe a lot of these cultures may not be working that hard. So, what's the cross cultural influence which you've had and which has made you a better professional now?
Okay. Uh, why do you think Indians, when they go abroad to any country, they excel? Indian expats recorded last, according to some statistics, is around 125 million, and none of them are in bad shape. Everybody is at the top of their profession or in the hierarchy in any country that they're working. This is a fact. Why is it so? Is it because they were intrinsically good but never got the exposure in India? I think yes. But when they go abroad, they have the opportunity to display their talent, and that's where they come into their own. I'll give you Indra Nui's example. I mean, if you see her background, very ordinary college, very ordinary background, very ordinary grooming. And her brother was with me in Africa. But look where she went in Pepsi. Just because she had the innate common sense, which we Indians do have. We are amongst the most talented people in the world. It's just the opportunities that needed to be given and the nurturing. My learning when I worked abroad, number one, to accept everything and to reject nothing, but to see the reason why. I mean, I came across situation where I said, "Oh, no way." And when I saw the reason why people are behaving or saying or stating a fact, it is because of the environment where I'm working, and I am alien to them, not them. They are doing what they're doing. Discipline in work-life balance, very important, and something that we Indians miss out. Uh, doing things the right way, uh, respecting people's opinions. These are things that you learn when you work with different cultures. Africans, for example, let me tell you, they are amongst the most patient, positive minded people you'll ever find on the planet. I have not seen a bone of sarcasm or black humor in an African. If you throw a tantrum, they will smile, laugh, and walk away. They will not come back at you, mostly. And that is something to be learned and admired. So these are things that you pick up as you go along.
So, when you said just previously that you used to stay with your own colleagues and work alongside them, so that attitude of being grounded or being humble enough or being easy to work with, did that help you a lot going ahead of getting the right respect from the team?
It does. मराठीत एक म्हण आहे ना, उंटावरनं शेळ्या हाकणे. You cannot do that. If you say, I say so, you won't get things done. When you actually become part of the whole scene or part of the confusion, and then you emerge as a leader, you will always have far greater respect for your word because you are walking the talk, you are demonstrating what you're saying, and there's no duplicity. People instinctively gravitate towards that. I have been fortunate to build teams from the age of 14 with no great cricketers. Most of them don't even play cricket after school. But using such talent, we have given very tough times to the strongest teams on paper and we have come out on tops. My revenge match against Podar in 1985, when I went to Narsi Monji after being dropped from Podar College team for no fault of mine. It was a grudge match, and my Narsimonji team was not very good. But to tell you how we get involved as a team together, bringing out the best of your team and utilizing that talent and having a never say die spirit. We chased 423 runs against a completely star-studded Podar team on the fourth day of the match, and we won by 1 wicket. It was one of the most sensational wins.
You
The
great.
team we are talking about is Jitu Thakre, Salil Datta, Ashish Parolekar, Samir Talpade, Parag Paigankar, Kushru Vasani, and whatnot. So
So,
working
a
with the team
lot
and
of wonderful.
leading from the team, not from a distance, goes a very long way. People trust you and they will come out positively once they know that they can trust you. That's one of the key learnings from my leadership experience.
Sure. So, uh, you also talked of having a great mentor, and you mentioned Bharat as one of your mentors. So, what have you learned from him, which is something which you cherish very deeply?
People like Bharat, you have to be an eklavya. He won't teach you anything in lectures or words. You just have to observe such people. And my advice to everyone is when you find someone worth emulating, spend time with them. Spend time with them. You will learn lots more than anything that you hear from them. Their own life, the behavior, their response to situations, how they deal with people, their approach to life, how they take care of themselves, how they built their own careers, or how they leveraged their talent. They knew what they are and they knew what they could not. There's so many things that you learn just by staying close to such people. And that to me is the best way to learn rather than taking lectures and spending an hour in a classroom and coming out and forgetting things. Now, Bharat Davolkar's life, if you have ever read or heard any of his interviews or this thing, he was immensely talented, no doubt about it. But he also got the right breaks. I mean, if he had not taken the offer from Ravindran to leave Dakunas and start their own agency, he was very happy doing his own job as a creative director in Dakunas. But he was forced to come, and their core client, good night, Mr. Mohan, he said that if Bharat is coming, he will only do creative, he won't get into administration. And that's how Bharat joined Zen. They created Zen, and a big chapter in Indian advertising was written. So these are things when you see and learn, you have to understand where he's coming from. And you can pick up things from just knowing their life. Bharat spent a lot of time with Pula Deshpande just to be with him. Exactly my point. He didn't go and take lectures how to write plays or to adapt plays or to act. He didn't take lectures. Just spent time with the people he thought are worthwhile, and he absorbed the good things from them. We all must try to do that. Whoever is your mentor, whoever, need not be a
So,
famous person.
Shantanu, while I was speaking with you all the time, we have in our group abundant Harish Mehta, who also was an aspiring cricketer, maybe from Delhi, about 10 years our senior, and
Okay.
exactly the same story. So when I think I'll get Harish to speak a bit later on, because I could hear exactly the same views that you bring on the table, which I hear from Harish. So a lot of similarities, and at times
Is it?
I thought I was speaking with Harish only. So Harish is there, and hopefully I'll have him later to
Okay.
share his views, what he felt.
Sure.
So one is in your marketing, what do you think? I've heard your story about working from literally brand building from cars and from cafes, and even you were a startup of a product with no offices. So I would love to hear that story of yours.
Okay. Just for the record, I happened to build quite a few brands at various stages of their thing. Tropicana happened because no one knew packaged juice. My challenge was how do you sell packaged juice when every street side sold fresh juice for 10 rupees, and here I was selling a packaged juice for 12 rupees with nobody seeing what's inside. And these were questions I actually got from the market when I launched Tropicana. So I identified the challenge. The challenge was people had to had trust, and the product had to have a positioning. When I was launching Tropicana, there was nothing on the ground, nothing. Lay's had just been launched, and soft drinks was already there 2 years back. So how do you actually get into the right universe? So my answer was there are three things that always work: visibility, cooling, and availability. And that's what I learned at Parley. Now, how do I get that? The first thing I did, I ensured there were literal walls of Tropicana in the stores. I created some very innovative promotions, which is called facings. The number of packs that horizontal, lateral packs that a shop displays, we would pay him 10 rupees per pack for the display. Now, it is inbuilt into this that if he cannot buy, he cannot display. So he had to buy that stock. So retailers started buying huge quantities. And what would they do with the quantities? They don't have storehouses. So they used to display. And that created a tremendous amount of visibility. Now add to that, I needed trials. Now visibility achieved. How do I get trials? I started a promotion called selling at the signals. You know, Bombay is vertical. Huh? There's only one line. You come from Pedder Road, you come to Haji Ali, Worli, and then Mahim, Bandra. That's about it. At every signal, I had promoters dressed in Tropicana t-shirts selling chilled Tropicana into the cars. And you know the traffic jams, they haven't changed since those days. Now, someone who's hungry, thirsty, irritated gets a chilled Tropicana for the same MRP is thankful. Now, that becomes a meal between meals. I introduced Tropicana in gymnasiums, including Anil Kapoor's wife's gymnasium at Pedder Road. Why? Because instead of drinking water or some packaged, whatever, unhealthy thing, if you get Tropicana, and that's my target audience, I identified the target audience. These people would actually buy Tropicana there and drink so that it becomes a health supplement. So there were multiple positionings for the same product, whether it's a breakfast or a drink or a supplement, whatever you call. So these are some few things that we did. I'm just talking about one aspect.
So I've also heard your story about some campaign you did in Africa with something of a football
Yeah,
signing
that's
or
very
something to that.
interesting.
Yes.
Thanks.
So
I mean,
yeah.
that's very interesting. I mean, what happened was my company there, we are into the beer business, and I was one of the directors on the board, the only non-family member on the board. And I saw that we were sponsors for the national team. And you know, the opposition, our competition, when they were offered sponsorship, they were told that, oh, this is a bunch of jokers. Why would we sponsor them? Because the team was ranked 157th out of 163 football playing teams in FIFA. So you can imagine where we are coming from. And I realized that except two clubs, nobody in Tanzania knew about the players nor the national team. There was no pride. I mean, there was no recognition for national team. So I said, how do I bring? So my problem was identified very accurately. I wanted recognition and national passion for the national team. The players needed to be known. What I did, I conceived of a flatbed 40-foot container, a trailer. I put a small goal on one side. I put a big giant cutout of a football mounted on a steel frame on the other side. And I parked that container or the trailer at prominent places in the city. And I invited public to come on board, score a goal, sign that football as a sign of your support for the national team, and walk off. In 6 days, we got more than 60,000 people jostling, fighting, queuing up to come and do this thing. And that football with 60,000 signatures was gifted during the match between Mozambique or Senegal, I'm not sure which one, by the President Kikwete to the national team. And that one event ensured that the new National Football Stadium in Dar es Salaam, which had a 60,000 capacity, was sold out, not one ticket available. That's the passion that we built, and that's the excitement we built around the team. And after that, there was no looking back. The team highest ranking went to 93. So these are certain things that you do by instinct. Trust your gut feel, create something to address the problem, and then do a good execution. That is the success. It's not just for marketing, for any field.
So what would you, on a lighter vein, advise for the Indian football team, who's maybe languishing more or less at the same position?
I don't follow Indian football, but
I
I
think
do follow.
they should hire you as a marketing consultant more than a coach. I think. Yeah.
They're much greater people than me to advise them. But
So
I can certainly say a few words about Indian cricket and with the rider that in India, everybody is a coach for cricket and everybody has got a tremendous insight into cricket advice. So everybody from Panwala to Harsha Bhogle can give advice to the Indian team. So here's my advice. Our Indian team doesn't lack in cricket talent or grassroots fundamentals or the resources. They have everything. The final battle is here between the years. And the same team can perform phenomenally well if they have a good management which is supportive. And right now, I feel the problem is the management. It is not the team. I'll give you a prime example. If you recall, when Virat Kohli came back from Australia for his paternal leave, I could see the body language, and you have to read body language. The team was desperate. Bumrah on the boundary, not taking interest. When he was called to bowl, he would come, bowl, do his piece, and get away. The moment Ajinkya Rahane became a captain, people gravitated towards him. They wanted to give advice unsolicited, knowing that he would never refuse or show himself to be the boss. And you know what happened? It's history. Ajinkya Rahane came back after winning the series against all odds. Now, that is leadership, but without someone looking over your shoulder. Today, I think Indian team's problem is its management. Not taking names, but collectively, it's the management. I think Ravi Shastri was the best coach because he didn't try to teach you cricket. He just gave you confidence to do what you could do and dollops of it and tremendous backing and fantastic motivator. That's all the team needed. So Virat Kohli and Ravi Shastri were a fantastic combination, which finally they destroyed. And after that came Rahul Dravid, great cricketer, great human being, didn't look to be very energetic.
No. So, going back to your marketing uh, profession, and there's a question by someone from our school only, Amit. He says, "What's the difference between marketing and sales?" So, while a theoretical question, various answers, but from your perspective, being in both fields, what would you say is your uh, answer based on your experience?
Look, Amit, I'll tell you, Amit, hi. Simple answer. I can sell you a razor saying it's a glass of water. I can even convince you, hypnotize you, and you will buy it from me. Once you wake up, you'll realize what I fooled you for. That is sales. But if I find a need that you need to shave every day and you don't get the right stuff, and if I understand your real problem, and if I offer you a solution, that's a marketing. I buy you a product for life. Simple answer, very rustic, but that's the truth. You need to know what people want and to match their needs with what you give them. Then they'll be your customers for life.
So, just before I let the audience in or any of my co-panelists to ask any questions, so what has been your most challenging campaign ever?
Well, I must say, when I went to Tanzania, you see, uh, it's again fate. When I was in Oman, I was very happy, settled, a lovely country to live. And out of the blue, uh, uh, this gentleman from Tanzania said, "Look, Shantanu, you have experience in building brands and companies from grassroots, and you have turned around brands and companies. We are looking for somebody like that." So, like, someone who loves a bait. I said, I'll try and look around. Then he asked me for my CV, and I gave him my CV. And one thing led to the other, and I went to Tanzania, little knowing that it was a sick company which this promoter had just bought in the backyard of the world's second largest beer company in the world, which was Sab Miller. And there has never been a competition to Sab Miller. Now you can understand the odds against which I was joining that company. Yeah? And when I joined, my own colleagues told me that why have you joined? In 6 months, our promoter will be on the streets. You will have no job, and you have made the biggest mistake of your life. And this is what I was told in the first week of my visit there,
Joining.
joining. Can you imagine? So you can understand my mindset. Huh? But taking challenge is my nature, and taking risks also. Some fail, some worked. This one worked. So I said, I had some good friends from Oman. They said, okay, Shan, I mean, there's a lifetime. Just put your best effort. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, go back to India. I said, yeah, fine. Good advice. That's when I started turning around that. From nobody in the sales team, sacking corrupt people in the organization, just a company of 28 people with no sales to talk about. If you give numbers, it's just 9, 10,000 cases of beer being sold in a month. That too on credit, no payments. I started from that stage. In 7 years, we took it to 650,000 cases a month, 17% market share, beat the hell out of Sab Miller. They lost three CEOs in 7 years because they didn't know what hit them. And finally, I was given the honor and privilege of leading the merger and sale to Diageo. So literally, it was a Kanyadan from growing up a kid to the wedding with Diageo. I was instrumental in that. And after that, against all advice, I decided to come back to India for family reasons, whereas they wanted me to continue there. But see the challenge 180 degrees from a company which didn't have a chance and it did not exist really, a sick company, to one of the most successful companies even today in Tanzania, which is part of the Diageo group now. So that was
So,
my most challenging assignment.
so what did you do there? I'm more curious to know, how did you turn the corner? So was the beer made more interesting to drink, or it was purely on marketing? So, or you worked on various aspects?
Uh, in a few bullet points, if I answer you, first thing, I try to gather as much as competitive information I could about my competitor. I always knew one thing, that any monopoly is lethargic and complacent. I always knew that. I just verified that, and that was true. The arrogance, the dictatorship, all these things, they had no alternative. The trade didn't have an alternative. Secondly, the quality was not good. And thirdly, I gathered tons of grassroots consumer feedback by literally sitting in bars at late nights and talking to drinkers to understand why and how and when they drink, the affordability. So I got first rate ground level information all across Tanzania by working the hard yards throughout the day and night. And that's how I learned Swahili. I can speak fluent Swahili thanks to such kind of forays or initiatives. But once I had this toolkit, and I knew that our beer was the best because I had a German brewmaster who brewed as per the German purity law. So it's a fantastic product that he created, a creation of passion. These were my toolkits to put together. On top of it is where I put in my instinct and my skills as a marketer or a salesman, and putting sales and marketing skills together. I built an organization where finally we had around 150 people just in the sales and marketing department, covering the entire country, and we just bought the nation's soul and heart, so to say. So people wholeheartedly abandoned Tanzania breweries and they came to us. So this was the secret to that success. And I think it has stood across everybody. I think everyone will attribute to that also in their own lives. But this is true not only for this case, it is true to every situation. Whether it was a Tropicana Pepsi or whether it was in Oman when turning around a struggling local company, or to coming here and putting Bureau Veritas on the growth path, wherever I worked, it was the same approach.
So it's my greatest takeaway from this is you got to work at the grassroots level. I think you can't work from a 30,000 feet. You'll have to get your hands dirty and do all the hard, smart work, right?
It is not only that, that is only to bring the market to the boardroom, Abhijit. When you do
Yeah.
that, you're bringing the market to the boardroom. That's another learning I learned at Parley Agro, and it stood me in good stead. In Pepsi, in Pepsi, if a new unit manager joined, he would work on the routes from morning 5:30 till 9 in the evening for 2 weeks. After that, he would come to office. Now, that's fantastic learning. So I imbibed that, and it always helps to back up your statistics with gut feel and grassroots level feel and touch. Then generally you don't go wrong. And that should be the key takeaway, to bring the market to the boardroom in the correct manner possible.
So it's you're saying balancing logic with intuition, both
Absolutely.
backed with data.
Balancing, or rather supplementing your gut feel or knowledge of the industry or the business with statistics to make sure there is no dissonance. If both are in
Sure.
alignment, you should go ahead. 70-30
Sure.
principle. 70% if it is a probability of success, work hard to make it 100%.
Thank you. Thank you. Any I'm throwing it open to the room. Any questions? Or Deepak or Payal, can you add something?
Yes, I have two questions for Shantanu, but before that, if Harish sir would like to
So
unmute and
Payal, can you ask him your rapid fire?
yeah,
Okay.
but before that, I would like to ask Harish sir if he has something to tell.
So
Say,
Shantanu, Harish is someone whom we look up to, our senior at PACI,
Wonderful.
and I could feel when you were talking exactly Harish speaking. Some of the people. Yeah.
Well, then that's an honor.
Harish ji, आप हो?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Abhijit. Shantanu, what went through you in 82 happened with me in 77, 78.
By God. Okay.
I was playing with the likes of Arun Lal, Kirti Azad, Mohinder and Surinder Khanna and all in Delhi University. I was in the Delhi University team.
Right.
Fortunate or unfortunately, I was in the team but did not play. So I passed out from Shriram in 78, went to Calcutta and joined Sporting Union as professional cricketer.
Okay.
With Abdul Ismail, Rusi Gigi Boy, Amber Roy, and all those people. I was selected to play under 22 but did not play.
Okay.
Because Arup Bhattacharya played for India under 19 and he was a left arm spinner.
Right.
So as fate would have it, in Delhi, we used to get samosa and chai during that time. And had to come to Firozshah Kotla, bringing our own bags, and that's all, whether it's under 19 or under 22.
Right.
So I played professional cricket. I played for the bank for almost 20 years.
Okay.
But I did not play for the state. And I have no regrets because I decided overnight to drop this. In 1979, when West Indies came to India, I said, I'm going to the bank rather than watching the match at Eden Gardens. A similar story, people would get into that team and people would play in the 11 provided they knew someone or the other. In Delhi, we had Ram Prakash Mehra, who was the DDCA and the BCCI president that time. I don't know who was there in Mumbai during your time and during your college days. But that's the unfortunate part that a lot of people today do not know how much we played and how much we struggled. And although we were much better than the first 11, but we were not played in the 11.
True. I agree completely.
Similarly, Shantanu, your story in your career, I was always selected out of turn, and I played out of turn both in the bank as well as in a profession now. I picked up profession as a speaker, coach, mentor, teacher for leaders. That was after 20 years of being in the bank.
True.
Had I been in the bank, I would have remained and maybe led the bank, one of these banks as the chairman, maybe 15 years back. So I feel the self-belief has to be there, which I was seeing in abundance in the way you were speaking today. You had the belief that you could travel, you could meet a lot of people, and you could get solutions done, which is the highlight of your talk today. And it's a privilege to listen to you. And thanks, Abhijit, for giving me this spot today to speak. Shantanu, whatever you are meant for will happen, provided you put your focus, attention, and energy to that.
Absolutely.
And you did that. I'll just narrate a small example. Yesterday, I was speaking with alumni of mine. We are doing a 100-year celebration in Shriram College. He's from Dubai. So he just said, let's do something great. So I asked the principal, the current principal, we are celebrating 100 years of Shriram College 2026 from 1st of January. What is the big picture that you can see, Madam Principal? If you can see the big picture, Shriram is not going to lag behind and say we are less than all those universities where people go from India, Stanford and all those universities. So they need to think beyond what they are thinking today.
Correct.
Which I feel is no more a culture of learning. And I'm very, very hopeful that those people who are passing out today get some learnings from the seniors, how to maintain that culture of creativity, and that learning has to come in, which is quite missing. And I'm not a strong this thing for AI or BI or whatever is happening around. I feel my mind is sharper than all the AIs and the BIs. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Harish.
Very well said. Very well said, Harish. I mean, I completely agree with you. You have to move ahead, accept reality for what it is. Never keep grudging. There are cricketers who keep cribbing, why not me, why not? And there are people who have moved on and built their lives because you just go with the flow of life. Life is a river, it keeps flowing, whether you are in it or not, it will not stop for you. So you need to just go ahead and grab whatever opportunities you get, move ahead, what you did, what I did, what everybody else would have done here. We have had more failures than successes. What we are talking is celebrating successes or highlights of our lives. So it's very relative. Who's bigger or who's greater is very relative. It's like 2 stars or 5 stars or 5 planets in the universe. I mean, you really cannot do a comparison. So we have to keep moving ahead, keep doing things that you like, but also to learn to be forgiveful. I mean, I always have a very strong belief in the karmic debit and credit. You must and you uh, must try and build up the positive side of things, because at the crucial moments, that is what is called luck, and it will favor you. When you do good things, it will come back to support you when you need it the most.
So
So you
when you
should not
write your
carry
book, this
bitterness.
chapter is going to be very interesting. My cricket career and my professional career, and now my career as a coach, mentor, teacher. You love
Okay.
writing this book, I promise you.
Great. Thank you.
Let this be
Thank you.
three chapters or three different episodes in the book. I have
Absolutely.
similarly four books. First
Okay.
part, second part, third part, and now the new part.
Yeah, I mean, people have done things which they themselves did not believe in, and I've been witness to that. So it's
Good.
not that you keep doing one thing and end up there. Sometimes you metamorphose into completely different role or a career.
Chalo, great knowing you. Catch up with
Great.
you sometime later.
Definitely in Delhi sometime.
Thank you.
Thank you,
He's
Aris
from
sir.
Mumbai. He's from
I am in
Mumbai.
Mumbai.
Oh, you're in Mumbai. Okay, then so it's easier.
I live in
Acha, the
Powai,
second thing,
Hiranandani.
so he also stays in Powai, so you can catch up anytime. Shantanu
Fantastic.
also stays in Powai.
Oh, you're in Powai?
Zen Maple,
Oh, I'm in Valencia.
very close by.
Fine.
Thank you,
So
Aris
That's
over
good.
sir.
to you, Pile.
Yeah. Shantanu, before I start with rapid fire, I have two questions to ask you.
Okay.
Looking back, what would you tell your 17-year cricketer self?
Looking back, sorry,
Looking back, what would you tell your 17-year-old cricketer self?
never give up.
Okay. And what's the next for you? Any passion, project, venture, any teaching ambition?
Giving, mentoring, teaching, wildlife, traveling.
Okay. And also sometimes in future I would like to read your book if you are interested in writing.
I'm not a great writer. I can speak better than I can write. I don't have the flair for writing. But my friend, I must mention here, Vivek Mohile, the book he has written, it's a gem full of wonderful nuggets. Fantastic to read based on his own personal experiences. That's one story of life where he has faced adversity and yet never given up due to his positivity. And that's a lesson for all of us. We all have done it, but fantastic book. The way is written, it is great. I saw myself in that, but I could not see myself writing the way he has written. So, Payal, I don't know if I get someone to write for me. Yes, I can tell good story.
Yeah, we have a facilitator in our team.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Def- Definitely. Now my rapid fire question starts.
That's where I'm scared.
Yeah. Cricket or marketing, which is tougher?
Marketing,
One word that describes your leadership style.
friendship,
Your favorite cricketer growing up.
Sachin.
A marketing campaign you wish you had created.
Oh, uh, not many really.
Beer, beverage, or FMCG, which category is most exciting to market?
Yeah.
Your all-time favorite brand.
Oh, across categories,
Any would do.
Patek Philippe.
One quality every marketer must have.
Intuition and empathy, two.
A habit that has contributed most to your success.
Willingness to take risk,
If not a marketer, what would you be?
cricketer.
The country you loved working in the most.
Tanzania.
Morning person or night owl?
Neither. Evening.
One book that changed your thinking.
Uh, Kotak Mahindra's book called The ABC of Investing. It opened a completely new way of thinking about personal finances.
Data or intuition, your go to.
Intuition,
A brand launch you are most proud of.
Serengeti for sure.
The most thrilling moment of your corporate career.
Couple of them. One was in Oman, and the other was obviously Tanzania. I have very deep love for Tanzania.
Your favorite language to speak.
When no one wants to know what I'm speaking, it's Swahili.
One marketing buzzword you would ban forever.
Ban forever.
Yes.
Statistics.
A sport other than cricket you enjoy.
Tennis.
Your biggest pet peeve in the corporate world.
Too much bureaucracy using statistics for leaning rather than for illumination.
One thing you learned in cricket that you use every day.
Listening to people.
A city you can live in forever.
Dar es Salaam.
Tea or coffee.
Coffee.
Your secret talent.
Talent. I can't think of one.
One advice you give every young professional.
Stick to your passion and do your best to make it your career.
Describe your journey in one word.
Life leads, risk enables.
Okay. Thank you so much, Shantanu, for being on the Bloom Talk Show, spending your time. It's beyond 1 hour. Thank you, dear audiences, for being here, spending your valuable time, and see you all for our next 277th Bloom Talk
Seventh one.
Show.
Shantanu,
God
wonderful,
bless us
wonderful
all.
listening to you. I hope you also enjoyed.
Yes, I certainly did. I don't know about the audience, so if I have been too boring, I apologize for that.
So you,
Not
so
at all.
you're not at all. Yeah, it
Not,
was
not
Yeah,
at all.
Payal,
Deepak ji,
also don't forget to inform the audience that there is a cafe event happening in the next 2 weeks. It will be a physical, in-person, invite-only event.
Yeah, it
Okay.
is an exclusive in-person invite.
Okay.
It's on 14th of December. If anybody interested, please DM us, connect with us, and we would let you know a special speaker who will be there on the physical meet.
दीपक
Fantastic.
जी आज का क्लोजिंग सेरेमनी का गाना
Ghana, Ghana, when you are talking of sports and cricket, there should be only one Ghana. Jai ho! और वही एक गाना होना चाहिए. आजा आजा जिन शामी यानी के तले आजा जरी वाले नीले आसमान के तले जय
जय
हो.
हो.
Wow.
Jai ho, jai ho.
Thank you very much, Deepak ji.
Thank you. Namaste. God bless us all.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody,
Shantanu.
for giving me this opportunity. Thanks first to Abhijit and to Payal to invite me. I mean, it is from the heart. I have never done this. I don't do these things. I just love to be with small groups. The first time I got such a audience and a forum to tell my story. I'm sure each one of your life stories is as interesting if you could find the time to listen to them. And I certainly would love to listen. Thanks a lot.
sure.
Thank
Thanks.
you,
Thank you.
Shantanu.
Inspiring.
Thank you so much.